634 here on News Radio WRVA, the song Pressure. How appropriate for our next topic of conversation. You want to comment, and I know you will after this one, 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. By the way, this segment we're also going to post on social media. You can find it on YouTube, News Radio WRVA, and Rich for America is my YouTube channel. The reason I say that is share this with somebody if you like what we have to say, because I'm going to undress this entire thing of what they're calling a partial government shutdown. You just heard Gary say that. You hear it in the media all the time. And I'm using the air quotes here. Partial government shutdown, which really means a Democratic Party temper tantrum. We didn't get our ways, so we're going to shut down portions of the government. Follow me here. A lot of people are just going to tell you, hey, this is how the process works now today in Washington, D.C. But what it really means is the people who can fix it didn't bother to fix it. And then they left town. They walked away while security functions hang in the balance. Say that one more time. Congress walked away. Members of Congress walked away. The House, the Senate walked away. While the Democrats have their third temper tantrum since Donald Trump's come back in office, and they decided they're not going to fund the Department of Homeland Security. They walked away while our security hangs in the balance. That's a lot, didn't they? That's a lot to think about. They can't get their job done, so they walk away and they go on vacation. And others flew away on jets, sitting in first class, or getting a line pass so they don't have to stand in the TSA lines like everybody else. But you know what? There's a burden on the American people. You know who feels it? You and I do. They don't. There's a burden on the American people, and it's being put on purpose. Here's how negotiations work. I look for leverage. What can I get you? What can I use to get you to bend to my will? That's leverage. How can I twist your arm? How can I put so much pressure and pain on you in a negotiation like this that you have to give in to my demands? The Democrats have figured out they got a new page in their playbook. I know if we can't get our way, we'll just shut down the government. We'll have people go without paychecks. We'll have people in pain, and then they'll call the Republican congressmen and senators and say, hey, I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting my SNAP benefits. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that. And they think that's enough to put pressure on the Republicans to cave into their demands. This is another one. Do they feel the burden? No. Did it hit them? No. But it hit the TSA agents who haven't been paid in God knows when. It hits the traveler that's standing in line. You see the horror photos of people standing in line for 4 hours to get in the plane. And by the way, we see members of Congress getting that golden ticket pass to skip the lines to go right to their planes. You know, I can tell that they're not standing in line. Some of these Congress people that I've seen, some of the women are wearing high heels. There's no way you're going to stand in a line for 4.5 hours if you're wearing high heels. That means they walk straight to the front of the line, got in their first class plane. Heck, even Bernie Sanders, there's a photo of him flying first class this weekend, you know, the man of the people. But here's what really hits us. Let me ask you a question. The Department of Homeland Security, you know the S stands for security, right? The S in Homeland Security, DHS, the S stands for Homeland Security. So during this partial government shutdown, aka temper tantrum, are we more or less safe when the Coast Guard's underfunded, when cybersecurity and a lot of things that have to go with, I don't know, the name of the agency, the Department of Homeland Security, are unfunded? And that's okay, I guess, in this new modern world. The Democrats think it's okay to use my public safety, your public safety, as a bargaining chip because they don't like ICE. They say it's temporary. Really? It's temporary until something happens, and then it'll be remembered forever because you put us at risk. What if there's a huge cyber attack right now while that department's unfunded in DHS? Then it's not temporary, then it's permanent. They say this is normal. There's nothing normal about leaving security unresolved and heading out of town. There's nothing normal about you bailing out of town while your job isn't finished. I can't walk out of work and go home when the job's not done. I don't get to walk out of here at 7:30 while the show's not finished. Why do they get to walk out when our government's not being funded? And you're talking about the basic functions of what I pay taxes for the federal government to keep me safe, and you're not funding that? And you think that's normal? Reality check, it's not. But what they did was they left and they didn't deal with it. You and I did that, we'd both be fired. They walked away from the problem, and now we're having to deal with it because they didn't do it. And what do they not like? That's the other part I really want to talk about. What do they not like on the Democratic side? They don't like ICE. So what do they not like about ICE? That they enforce our immigration laws? That they close the border? There's less fentanyl pouring across, killing people? That they're getting dangerous, illegal aliens off the street? So instead of dealing with it, they just left town. They have these demands they want. And if they don't get their way, then they shut the federal government down. The only reason the federal government got reopened last time was they heard from their base because SNAP benefits weren't getting paid. And they were saying, oh my gosh, people are going to go without food. These women and children that need food are going to go without their basic necessities because the SNAP cards aren't reloaded. How can you take food out of the mouths of these people and not feed them, is the cry. Because of that, they reopened the government. We're going to go tomorrow to feed TSA agents. Have you heard anybody on the Democratic side scream, cry, yell, or wring their hands over the fact that there's DHS people, there's TSA workers that can't feed their family right now because they haven't received a paycheck in a month and a half? I don't know about you. I know we do. We live paycheck to paycheck. Most of you do as well. Now imagine if I had to show up to work every day and I didn't get paid for a couple months. How do you think that would go over my family? What kind of stress do you think that would put me under? I've lost a job before. I know what that's like. I don't know what it's like to just stop getting paid because somebody's throwing a temper tantrum because they don't like ICE enforcing the laws that are on the books. I don't know what it's like to show up to work every day and have the responsibility of trying to make sure that I have to be 100% perfect. I can't let anything get in or past me that would put people in danger. We're not talking about my show. I do a radio show. I talk to you. I entertain you. I get you to work. What I do isn't life and death on a daily basis. Theirs is. Those TSA workers out there, they need to be on spot, on point, correct 100% of the time. Because if they don't, just one mess up, a knife gets aboard, somebody gets hurt. God forbid a gun gets aboard a plane. They don't catch it. And what could happen then? Hijackers, a bomb. We're talking the worst of the worst, and their responsibility, they're that thin blue line that keeps you and I safe when we board a plane, because you and I are jumping into a big metal tube that will go in the air, and you and I have no control. We're strapped into our seats, and you and I are dependent on those TSA workers, making sure there's nobody that's brought anything on there that's going to kill me. That's it. You want to know what the TSA workers do? They're your last line of defense to keep you safe in that plane, to make sure that our planes are not going to be hijacked, our planes are not going to be blown up, our planes are not going to be taken over by somebody, or no one gets hurt. They're the last line of defense. And you know what Congress did? They went on vacation. And again, I've seen many of them walking through the airport at Dulles and Reagan wearing high heels in their suits, and they're going God knows where to do God knows what. Some of them are bragging, I'm flying over here, I'm flying over here, I'm flying over here. I'm going overseas to see what's going on there as a member of Congress. Hey, instead of doing that, why don't you stay in town and do your darn job? Because here's what I'm going to tell you, and here's what I think the American people will tell you. Our security is not a bargaining chip in your little game that you play in D.C. My security is not a bargaining chip. My family's security is not a bargaining chip. And your security isn't a bargaining chip for Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer to be using. to get their way in this big temper tantrum in life. And shutting down the government, where in the world would you ever have a job where I could just refuse to do my job in a battle with another department? Nowhere. We wouldn't allow it in our workplace. You wouldn't allow it on your team. Why do we keep allowing this in D.C.? It just makes you shake your head that we need serious people in serious times, and none of these people seem to be serious. It's so frustrating. But the fact that they think so little of me and you, the American taxpayers, that they're going to allow our security to be put at risk while they run off to do God knows what and God knows where, and they leave all of us holding the bags. And those TSA workers, God bless you for staying on the job, because I don't know many other people that would. That's why we're going out there just to say thanks. We're going to say thanks because the federal government and the Congress hasn't done their job. Hasn't done their job. It's absolutely despicable. It's absolutely despicable. You want to comment? 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. The number for you to join us on the program this morning, once again, 833-804-1140. Send your text messages on the James Herrera text line. If you like what we have to say, hey, find this on YouTube and share it with other people. NewsRadio WRVA or Rich for America is my YouTube channel.